What's up, comic community? Batcave Comics here to do a haul for you guys. I picked up quite a few books the past couple weeks. I have a few LCSs and rooted through their cheap stuff, which the one really doesn't have like dollar bins or anything like that. But all his back issues are buy one get one free under $10. The only thing that sucks is it's hard to find a bargain there, because they're one of them shops where you take a book up to them that's not priced and immediately they're online to look at the going rate. And, personally, I can't stand that, because I could just hop on eBay and do that and not even leave the comfort of my house. I like to go to shops where they have dollar bins, cheap bins. The other one does have like a cheap bin section, but I've rooted through that so many times, there's really not much left unless a book seems to get hot and it's sitting in there. But anyway, let me get this haul started. I got 3 stacks of books here. I guess I'll start with the middle stack. These were all 25 cents a piece. Not the whole stack, but the first few are 25 cents a piece, which I figure, you know what? You can't go wrong picking up a comic for 25 cents. So the first one is Solution number 1 from Malibu Comics. And then I picked up Arrow from Malibu. Wrath number 1. Strike Back number 1. The Strangers number 1. John Sable Freelance number 1. From Valiant, Time Walker number 1. And The Destroyer number 1. Bolt and the Star Force 6 number 1. And another copy of Champions from Eclipse Comics number 1. Bloodfire number 1 from Lightning Comics. Elf Lord number 1. I believe this is like a second series. And Grave Trancers number 1 from Black Mask Comics. Pretty cool looking cover. Black Diamond number 1 from AC Comics. And those were all basically the 25 cent, I don't know, number 1 issues I just picked up. Really ain't worth anything, but hey, you never know. If you pick them up cheap, have them sitting in your collection, all of a sudden one of them hits, you're in business. So I always pick up strange stuff like that. So these next few were just really high grade newsstand editions, and these I think like 3 or 4 of them, but they were all $1. But I got Ghost Rider, Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance number 15, just a really nice solid copy, newsstand. Ghost Rider 23, real high grade newsstand. Death's Head 2 number 2, high grade newsstand. And Dark Hawk number 13. Just I'm gonna say this one's got a really good shot at a 9.8. I mean, just a nice copy. Grimjack number 2 for $1. Gravestone number 1. I thought that was a pretty cool cover, and he had 2 of them, so I went ahead and picked up both. Harsh Realm #1 from Harris Comics, and Grimjack #3. They did not have Grimjack #1. Somebody must have already plucked it. But, oh well. Alright, this next grouping is books that were half price. So for $1.50, the Doom Patrol Annual #1, or Secret Origins starting Doom Patrol Annual #1. It's my second copy of that. Really high grade. Micronauts, The New Voyages, #15. This one was $1, which now I'm starting to get into. I'm starting to get into covers that I like. Some of them growing up as a kid, which this one happens to be, and some other really cool covers that just came out recently. But Micronauts New Voyages #15. Baron Carr's on the cover. I mean, I always thought he was just a cool looking character growing up, and this is a really good copy in high grade. I picked that up for $1. The Invincible Iron Man #11, kind of a mixture between Iron Man and Doom. Really cool cover. Had to grab that for $1. Spider-Man #18. Really like this cover. This was half price, so I think I paid $2 for this one. Really sharp cover. Had to pick that up. And then the Magnificent Miss Marvel #4 variant, which features Spider-Man's cosmic costume. Super sharp cover. Justice League Odyssey #9. Another just really sick looking cover. Actually, I think it looks, get a better view of it if it sits like that. Just a really, really nice art on that. And these were, I think these were half price too. Or, yeah, these were all half price. So $2 on that. The Punisher #14. Picked this one up. I thought it was super cool how the stars kind of make a skull. Really cool cover, so I had to grab that one. Newer book. Deceased #4 variant. And like I said, all these were half off. So this was like $2.50. Deathstroke 33. Another $2 purchase. Super sick cover. Catwoman #6. Batman 985, or Detective 985, I'm sorry. But here, these are gonna fall. This is just a really sick looking cover. Love that. Great, great artwork right there. Batman 69. Another really sick looking cover. Batman 68. These are all variants too. Green Lantern #6. And the cover I got for $2 I thought was super cool is Elvira, House of Mystery #9. A photo cover. Photo cover of old Elvira. And this book's in great shape. A couple spine indentions but no color breaks. So a good pressing and maybe a light dry cleaning. I think this would definitely maybe a 9.2. I'd probably guess a solid 9.2 on this. For $2 though, it's probably one of the best covers out of this whole series. Alright, so let me slide these out of the way so I can make some room. Because I did pick up like a ton of stuff, and I kind of have to start going through them so I can file them well. Slide these over. Alright, this first one I'm showing is the trade paperback, The Silver Surfer, Rebirth of Thanos. My mother bought this for me for my birthday last week, and it was basically one I asked her to pick me up because my daughter had bought me this one, trade paperback, and I didn't want to read the originals, so I read this one, which was a great read back then and again, and so my mother picked me up this one, and I just sat down and read the whole thing, and they all kind of tie in. I think I'm gonna track down all the trade paperbacks that kind of roll into this Infinity Gauntlet and read them all. But so far so good. This one here is basically Death brings Thanos back to life and gives him a mission, and his mission is eliminate half the universe, which kind of coincides with the movie that came out with Thanos, not Endgame, the one before, Infinity, but definitely a little different than the movie, but still a great read. Future Foundation #1 for $2. Lobo Annual #1. Also for $1 and really solid high grade, Micronauts The New Voyages #1. Had to pick that up. And then Micronauts New Voyages #20. I grabbed this because not only is it in high grade, it's also the final issue of that series. So always pick up final issues. Another cool cover. Morbius, Midnight Suns. What number is this? Oh, number 22. Thought that was a cool cover, and it was $1.50, so why not? And then, oh, this was another one of those 25-cent purchases. I don't have all these in order, so I'll be flip-flopping back and forth. But Airboy #3, and I picked this up because it says Enter the Heap, which looks like an extremely cheap version of the Man-Thing. I mean, look at that. That looks ridiculous. I mean, that actually maybe the Man-Thing's little sister. Who knows? But it's just funny how some of these off-brand comic companies come up with shit like this. I thought it was kind of funny, so I had to grab it. Cyberforce #9, high grade newsstand. Suicide Squad Annual 1. The facsimile Batman with Robin, 232. First appearance of Ra's al Ghul, which I actually had the original of this, but I sold it. I picked this up just so I can read it. I did manage to get a few copies of Absolute Carnage. So I had 2 copies of one, or regular cover, and I believe this is the Mark Bagley cover, or Ron Lim cover. Let me see. Yeah, Ron Lim cover. I thought that was pretty cool. Grab that one. In the dollar bin, I found Farmhand #1, and these are like never even been read, just super nice condition. #3 and #6. Defenders #1. I think this is what, volume 2 or 3, something like that. I can't even count how many volumes there are anymore. It's ridiculous. It just kind of drives me nuts how they just keep rebooting and just continue on with the regular. But $2, pick that up. Black Panther Annual #1, another $2 purchase. Silencer Annual #1. And then the Virgin Spawn. I think this one is the 298 or 299. One of the two. I picked up both. Silver Surfer #1. I thought this was a pretty cool cover, so plus a #1, so I grabbed it. My LCS got another shipment of Silver Surfer Black, so they had this sitting there, #1, so I picked that up. And Silver Surfer Black #3, the variant. Thought that was a pretty decent cover. The art's not spectacular, but still kind of cool. And picked up the Immortal Hulk #22. Alright, now down to the last pile. I told you I had a bunch of books here. I'm trying not to spend too much time. Let me get these out of the way. Not super detailed so much. So I managed to track down Savage Avengers #1 at my LCS. Both of them all sold out, didn't have it, and I scoured through some of their back issues, and bam, this one was sitting in there. It's a variant, but that's still fine with me. First appearance of the Savage Avengers. And then to go with that, the free comic book day, which has the preview of the Savage Avengers. So, I mean, you know, whichever side of the fence you're on, pick which one's the first appearance. To be on the safe side, just grab both. Captain Marvel #9, really cool cover. Plus, it's the death of Dr. What is it? Minerva. Dr. Minerva. And I actually just picked that up just for the cover. So, Catwoman #14. I picked up a few copies of this because I believe this was mentioned in the Error books that were put out, like the what was it, Superman 14 and Supergirl 33, but this one really wasn't really didn't get a lot of heat, but apparently this one has that same error where they put the banner where it's not supposed to be. Apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the information I had gotten. I did manage to get a Batman 77 cover price, Death of Alfred. I picked up 2 copies of Sensational SpiderMan #1. He debuts the black and red costume that a fan wrote in about, that which started the whole black costume Venom thing, period. But yeah, this debuts that costume, so I grabbed 2 copies of that. Agents of Atlas #1, which is what, the first appearance of Isaac Akita. Picked up one of those. Oh, excuse me a second. Then I picked up Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 43, which is the first appearance of Thunder Lizard. I found 2 copies of Ironheart #7, which is the first appearance of Eclipse, I believe. Yeah, first appearance of Eclipse. So I found 2 copies of that. Major X #0, which is the first Team Commandos. Is that what it is? First team appearance of X Command. There you go, Reed Comics. That's what I do with my labels right there, my labeler. Nice and neat. Because you know, you write a bunch of stuff and then you end up not being able to read your handwriting. With the labels, you don't have that problem. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 42, which is the first appearance of the Pink Goblin. Yeah, the Pink Goblin. Picked one of those up. Captain America 292, first appearance of the Black Crow. I found 2 copies of Exiles #1, which is the first cameo appearance of the new Valkyrie and the first cover appearance of the new Valkyrie. And those were both, both these were $1. And then I found 2 copies of Fantastic Four #6, which both these were $1 also. And this is the first appearance of Zora Vukovic as Victorious, who later becomes Vendetta. So I picked up, he had 2, picked them both up. Found a copy of West Coast Avengers #1, newsstand, first appearance of West Coast Avengers. I think this was $1. Found that for $1. Then Airman #1 from Malibu, first appearance of the Thrasher, for $1. Doom 2099 #7, first appearance of Paloma, for $1, if that's how you pronounce it. A-Next #2, first appearance of Earth Century. That was $1. And then a super cool cover, Old Man Logan 43. I want to say this was half price or $1. So I only paid $1 or $2 for this. And this is the first appearance of the Shadow Tracer. Plus just a sick cover. Love Bullseye. Whoever drew this did a fantastic job. I probably should have looked it up and gave you all that information. But I don't know, I've been lazy lately. Picked up 2 copies of Miss Marvel 31, first appearance of Skunk Girl. Yeah, you heard it, Skunk Girl. Oh, goodness. What the fuck is next? You know? Weasel Girl. Picked up Marvel Comics #8. This is the first solo White Fox. Young Justice #1. This is the first Team Lantern and something else. First Team Lantern and first cover of Kinky Hicks, which is right there. Scream #1. I did manage to get 2 copies of that. First appearance of Patricia Robertson as Scream. So I grabbed 2 of those. My LCS only had 2. Grabbed them both. Savage Avengers #4. You know, I can't wait for the trade of this, because I don't want to read them individually and sit and wait for another month. I want the whole deal. But this is the first appearance of Savage Venom. First full appearance of Savage Venom. Book to pick up right here, people. Bloodlines annual, or Justice League International annual #4. First appearance of Lionheart. Picked that up for $1. Batman annual #17. First appearance of Ballistic for $1. And then, let me see. Oh, still got a couple more. I found 2 copies of Champions #9, which I gotta write my notes. First appearance of Red Locust. So if I don't, I forget all this shit. Managed to find a Champions 22. First appearance of Brawn for $1. And to finish it off, all new Aquaman 45, introducing Nama, Mother of Death. And that is it, folks. 25 minutes of comics. Now that all you guys are pretty much well asleep. Thanks for tuning in, checking my new haul out. Hit that sub, like this video, and hit that bell. I'd actually like to maybe hit 20, 30 likes on one of my videos. That'd mean a lot, guys. Hey, Batcave Comics, out.